some point, the phrase Souls-like kinda got lost in the proverbial sauce, despite the meaning behind it being more popular and loved now than ever. See, the term slowly started gaining traction in the early 2010s with the release of Demon's Souls, FromSoft's cult classic hit, and of course, Dark Souls, the first two dominoes in a line that would later on become nearly their entire identity and catalog. Whatever, these games were notoriously difficult, brutal, and unforgiving in a time where that wasn't a popular trope or common marketing gimmick yet. They were pretty vague when it came to the narrative and game mechanics and were almost purposely unapproachable, but players, arguably masochists, absolutely loved this new formula. Why? We had difficult games before Demon's Souls, obtuse games, gritty games, gothic games, precise melee combat, iframe dodge games. So what does it mean to be a Souls-like? And how did something so niche, so specific, and so unfriendly become such a massive driving force in the entire video game world? The term Souls-like was actually not initially used to categorize any game that takes inspiration or certain features from FromSoft. It was generally originally used to highlight the similarities between Demon's Souls and Dark Souls. But with the release of Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and so on, the definition of that gameplay package has since moved to the phrase Soulsborne. Okay, so Soulsborne, the official iconic game releases by FromSoft, and Souls-like is any other game that takes inspiration or gameplay features from a FromSoft game. Now that we've got that incredibly interesting and totally not arbitrary difference out of the way, we can start unraveling this mystery. Damn, this is good. I'm sure at some point recently you've been playing a game and suddenly a feature or a moment happens that makes you go, hey, wait a second, I know you! It's almost like a damn psyop at this point. You're seeing symbols, runes, sound effects, certain animation frames, and your brain does a Tony Hawk 900 and makes the connection. But while other subgenres can cross that line with only a few features, roguelites, Metroidvanias, boomer shooters, immersive sims, a Souls-like appears to be defined more by a perceived atmosphere or vibe than by a simple checklist of traits. Almost every other design branch is mostly using the fundamentals as a foundation to build off of, while the vast majority of Souls-likes are trying to augment a singular thing, a very specific feeling. Larger-than-you bosses with precise movement patterns, interconnected worlds with looping shortcuts, a punitive resource loss on death, a checkpoint system where you'll level up and gain resources, a dark, gothic, and often grotesque aesthetic, a universal currency, and some other less necessary stuff. And yeah, a high difficulty, it's probably gotta be pretty damn hard. That's like been the whole thing since the extremely subtle Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls. But because many of these things have obviously existed in other subgenres, we now often see games being mislabeled as something they're not. But what truly sets Souls-likes apart from other genres is their unique demand for a specific comprehensive gameplay package and not just a few select features. Listen, many even argue that Sekiro, a game made by FromSoft, isn't even a Soulsborne or a Souls-like. It's some more sinister, separate thing. I can't fucking carry all of this! Despite obviously having many of the same bones and feels as the others, to many it still doesn't have enough. When it comes to almost every style of game, our brains can click into almost any combination of genre or subgenre. Features merge, genres become blurred, and almost every version of that specific genre has been tried and tried again. But Souls-likes are in such a unique position, whereas other games are terrified of repetition, Souls-likes not only encourage it, they demand it. What differentiates a good Souls-like from a bad one? Oh, many will tell you straight up it's just how well a game can copy FromSoft.
It's just like that thing that I already know that I enjoy. Familiarity is safety.
And others will tell you it's how the design philosophy is merged with another core genre. Lies of P is a great example of the first bucket, a genuinely outstanding title that obviously plucked more flowers than it grew. The game feel, frame data, NPC dialogue, and UI are so eerily similar to a FromSoft product that if I didn't know any better, I'd completely assume this game was made by FromSoft themselves. That's the interestingly unique difference here. Souls-likes kind of border on like cutesy plagiarism with a twist. And we all fucking love it because Lies of P feels like it was made by FromSoft, and that's the barrier of entry now. If you got that, then your brain lets you enjoy the rest of the title's specific features. But if you don't, that uncanny feeling of almost being right will subtract from any of the new features and directions the game is attempting to go in. It's like as a kid when you got the off-brand peanut butter cups.
I get what they're going for, but the peanut butter's a little fucking weird.
And now that you're hearing it, if you also love these games, I bet many of you are just now realizing this. And none of what I'm saying is meant to take away from the fantastic work that Round 8 put in. The art direction and music here is nothing short of, like, perfect. It's one of the only games I've finished multiple times, back to back, just so I could fight an additional secret boss. If you haven't played it yet, put it at the top of your to-play list, man. And this crazy FromSoft copy-craving effect could not be illustrated more clearly than with the Lords of the Fallen version 2.0 update. But before I can tell you how insanely crazy the Latfa situation is, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Raycon! Now that the holidays are but a distant memory in the fog, it's a damn good time to upgrade your gear for the new year. Whether you're editing a project, listening to tunes, learning how to play Fool's Blade, or just trying to hit the gym more, I genuinely can't recommend Raycon's bone conduction headphones enough. They're actually fucking crazy. Other than sounding like a max level warlock spell, they sit outside of your ears so you're aware of what's going on around you while you listen to music. I personally found this really nice while taking walks. Or talking to a friend at the gym. They're incredibly comfortable, especially for someone like me with goblin ears who typically struggles to find earbuds that fit perfectly. Outstanding battery, great sound, and honestly just awesome tech. I'm quite impressed by these little noodles. My skull has become the speaker! So, go to raycon.com/CTHDBC to get up to 20% off everything, even a Raycon employee skin. Oh, you guys aren't doing the skin promotion anymore? Oh, you were never doing one, and if I keep mentioning it, you won't pay me. Okay, the skin stuff is off. You'll just have to snag their amazing headphones by clicking my link in the description. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this one. Let's get back to it. Lords of the Fallen. No, not that Lords of the Fallen. The second Lords of the Fallen. No, that's Lords of the Fallen 2, the third game in the franchise. I'm talking about Lords of the Fallen, the one that initially during development was called Lords of the Fallen 2, but then was released with the title The Lords of the Fallen, but they removed the to avoid any confusion, finally landing on the exact title as the first game, and now the third game is the second one? Got that?
I think I'm starting to smell sounds.
The game was...
It was okay.
The dual world gimmick where you could snap between the land of the living and the land of the dead to solve puzzles, kill enemies, and explore was actually pretty damn impressive. The armor designs were, dare I say it, sick as fuck, and the general quality was mostly pretty high. But the title released to middling reviews primarily due to its combat and overall feel. But what is a feel?
I too have been wondering that all my life.
Well, it was fucking weird and floaty, and the sound design felt like you were slapping ghouls with a wet broom, and the animations were a jittery, unintuitive mess that made timing attacks in a Time the Attack game a nightmare. So guess what? Nearly 2 years later, they just fucking updated it, changed animations, improved the sound effects, added a dedicated jump button, and even created a co-op pass. So now that it feels and sounds more like that one thing we know we like, it's no shock at all. And the community's reaction to this update was extremely positive. The stage is now set! The rules of the game are law! This realization is gradually dawning on both developers and gamers when it comes to the FromSoft formula, when it comes to creating a Souls-like. What players want, and frankly, what they expect is more or less more the same. I've never seen a genre bolted down this hard, and I think that's partially what makes it so special. Fans know what they love, and the game creators have now refined it down to a delicious science. But that same tasty truth has now fractured the Souls development space into two defined groups that have now taken over the entire modern gaming landscape. Shoot, we've now spoken at lengths about Souls-likes and Soulsborns, but there's actually a third one that's just starting to make some waves. A Souls-lite.
Really? We're doing this? We're splitting hairs this much?
I think it's actually really important to the conversation, Harold, and you're supposed to be dead. I cut you in half, remember?
Oh, yeah.
A Souls-lite is a wildly different game that takes a few defined exact features from a Souls-like. This is the second bucket. When a title wants to somewhat invoke that feeling of a Souls-like, but also, understandably, doesn't even want to attempt to land that third-person lock-on roll-spamming FromSoft feeling, this is usually the route they'll pursue. Some of the games that are argued to be in this subcategory are Hollow Knight, Silksong, Blasphemous 1 and 2, both Remnants, Death's Door, and Another Crab's Treasure. I've heard that one has the best voice acting.
Not if I get there first! Think of all the tourists that treasure can bring to our city!
Haha, yeah, you go, kid! Roland can't tell us what to do!
Back off! I saw it first!
Get your own trash, suckers!
The corporations don't control us!
What is that thing?
I've never seen anything like it.
It's a message from the captain! It's got his face right on it! It's gotta be!
Hit me up if you're making a game. So, yeah, these games all stand on their own clearly in visuals and gameplay mechanics. They're very different and also debated when it comes to how much they do or don't leak into the mentioned genres. But check this out. Bonfires, resource loss on death, Estus flasks, tightly animated difficult combat, even exhausting dialogue. And I know that seems like a Skyrim with guns moment, but I swear I am not crazy! Now, the space is still heavily debated. What's a Souls-like? What isn't? What's a Souls-lite? Is that even real? Are genres real? How did FromSoft ever think double bosses were fun? And how the fuck is this still going? But mechanically, marketably, and communicatively, the powerhouse cohesion, the flavor that has enveloped the entire gaming market could not be more obvious and apparent. These games have dominated the most recent gaming showcases and sales charts. China's entire gaming market was changed forever when Black Myth stomped Elden Ring's sales and concurrent player numbers. They're constantly up for Game of the Year or other awards, and the player base's desire for these types of games appears to be insatiable. First Berserker, Jedi Fallen Order, and Survivor, the Neo games, and that other one with the big anime storyline and everything in between that's set to release soon. This genre and its branches for most players seems to be genuinely infectious, despite its frequently ambiguous definition and paradoxically its sometimes excessively detailed rule set. It's now entirely proven without a shadow of a
Tree.
doubt that once you go bonfire, you never go back prior.
All right, I'm tired of you scaring me, creature! Show yourself!
Hidetaka Miyazaki?
I've permanently reshaped the gaming landscape with various gameplay features and aesthetic elements. Yet somehow, the most crucial one is almost universally ignored.
Which one?
No! No, you can't do this! Anything but the swamp! Anything but the swamp!